What's going on, gamers? It's your boy Diggs Gaming. Welcome back to Funkins Gaming News. And I got a lot of things to talk about today. So we're going to start off with an update from the Activision Blizzard lawsuits. Now, if you recall, the state of California had filed its own lawsuit against Activision under its previous name, the Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Now it's called the Civil Rights Department. And Activision Blizzard has been trying to get that lawsuit thrown out. Well, it has failed. The lawsuit has not been thrown out. Their motion has been dismissed. So this lawsuit is going to continue to come out. And in a statement, the Civil Rights Department has said, with a Court of Appeals denial of a width of mandate, the CRD will continue this case to enforce civil rights guarantees in the Fair Employment and Housing Act and California Equal Pay Act on behalf of women who work for Activision. Now, we have gone over their lawsuits in the past. We all know what's going on. It's about discrimination, sexual harassment, and all this ugly stuff that's been going on with Activision Blizzard. And remember, they had settled another lawsuit, I believe, for 18 million, and then they had another lawsuit filed about a couple weeks ago. We talked about that during a few gaming news ago. And now this lawsuit, which again has been filed by the state of California with the Civil Rights Department, is going to continue because the motion to get it out has been dismissed. Now, Activision Blizzard had tried to get this out because they were trying to say that the CRD had broke its own rules in its rush to file a lawsuit, but a judge disagreed with that, and now this lawsuit is going to continue. Just wanted to give you an update on that. Moving on, Microsoft's Q1 2023 financial report has come out, and some interesting figures have come out. Now, in terms of hard numbers, Xbox hardware is up 13%, while content and services revenue is down 3%. And really, this doesn't really shock me because hardware, the stocks have been improving for both the Series XS and the PlayStation 5. So we knew those products were going to go up. We knew that the revenue for the hardware is going to go up. And the content and services revenue down 3%. Remember, Xbox has not had a first-party game come out in a while now. And that's the whole thing. Really, the fact that it's only down 3% is actually a good thing because it does show that people are still buying games on Xbox, that the fact that they haven't had that many exclusives since the Series XS has come out hasn't hurt them too much. And remember, there's a lot on the horizon for Xbox first-party studios. And really, if you're an Xbox fan, you have to be excited for a lot of them. And there's just too many to name. I'm not going to go down the list because that would just take too long. But you have Starfield, you have Redfall. I think there's an Indiana Jones game that's in development, Perfect Dark, Evil Within 3. And those are just the ones off the top of my head. I know there's a lot more, but I just can't think of them right now. But yeah, there's a lot on the horizon. And hopefully that number is going to go up as these games are coming out. It should go up again. Down 3% sounds worrisome, but not really when you realize just what's been going on with Xbox and their games. Not really shocked by that. But this was a surprising statement. Phil Spencer has said that nearly half of Xbox Series S owners are new to the Xbox ecosystem. And that's interesting because it shows why the Series S is here in the first place. We've seen all the complaints about the Series S, that it's not really as powerful as the Series X and the PlayStation 5, that it's holding games back. But this is why they had this console. It's an introduction console to those that are either new to this generation or those that are new to console gaming all in general. That's why you have the Series S, to get gamers in the doorstep of console gaming. And it just shows that it is worth it for Xbox because it is successful in getting people to buy Xbox consoles. Also, Phil Spencer did talk about how it's been disappointing that Xbox has not had an exclusive come out in a while. However, there is stuff on the horizon for gamers to get excited about, which I just talked about. I just named a whole bunch of them. And yeah, there is stuff for Xbox gamers to be excited about, especially coming out in 2023 with Starfield, and Redfall. Also, Phil Spencer suggested that consoles, games, and Game Pass may see an increase in price in the future, but they won't do it for the holiday season. And when Phil Spencer is suggesting that it might happen, it's going to happen, but it won't happen during the holiday season, which is good for Xbox. It's a good look for them to wait off to increase the prices of everything until after the holiday season. It's a good look for them. But it's going to be interesting to see how many people are upset about this, because a lot of people were not happy when PlayStation increased the price of their consoles. And really, they weren't too happy with PlayStation when they increased the price of games from $60 to $70. And it's just going to be interesting to see who's going to be upset by it and who's just not going to care. I don't know what's going to happen. And speaking of Game Pass, from the previous year, Xbox Game Pass subscribers have grown 28%. Now, that number sounds good. It does. However, Microsoft was hoping for a 73% increase in subscribers to Game Pass. So they fell way short of that. And one thing to remember is Microsoft put all their chips into the table for Game Pass. They were banking on this to be the future of gaming. And the day-and-day releases and all the stuff that they put on Game Pass, they were banking that this would be what gamers go to in the future. And it's growing. It is, but not at the rate that Microsoft has wanted it to. And I don't know if Game Pass is still a viable solution or really something that is going to work out with Microsoft in the future. It's still a question mark at this point. And yes, all these things are good. The day-and-day releases, all of these games that you can play, but there has to be sustainable growth. And there is growth, but is it sustainable enough for Microsoft? That's the question. How much longer are they going to eat Game Pass? Because they're not making a whole lot of money with this when you're talking about people that can get it for $1. I mean, we have people that are literally getting Game Pass for $1. And one more thing, Microsoft stated that they are going to try to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation 4 as long as PlayStation consoles exist. That's their promise. I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to trust Microsoft because they are making a promise. And it is still not a viable option to try to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. Remember, money does talk when you're talking about a business like Microsoft. And if you take away Call of Duty from PlayStation, that is really going to affect the profit of Call of Duty. And it's not a good idea because of what they just spent. They just spent $70 billion on Activision. Activision's biggest game is Call of Duty. Call of Duty is everywhere. They also want to put Call of Duty on the Switch, or at least try to get it on the Switch, which would just add even more gamers to Call of Duty. So I'm going to believe Microsoft until I hear that Call of Duty is going exclusive. That is the last time I'm going to say this, guys. It's the last time. All right, moving on. Hellana Taylor, the former voice of Bayonetta, has revealed that she was, in fact, offered more than $4,000 to voice Bayonetta. She did this Twitter thread where she explained what happened during the process. So originally she was offered $10,000. Now she thought that she was worth more than that and then was offered an extra $5,000. She declined to voice the game. Later on, they offered her $4,000 to voice some lines, I guess to voice another character in the game. Again, she declined that. Now, she said that some of what people are saying, like that she was asking for $250,000, just wasn't true. And this is not a good look for Hellana Taylor right now. We really don't know what goes on behind the scenes and how much really voice actors make when you are voicing a video game. We really don't. A lot of people think that it's just not enough, or those that we do hear, we think it's not enough. And yeah, I feel like voice actors, they can be underpaid a whole lot, but to do this, to lie and trick the public, it's not a good look for her. It's just something where you are making yourself look bad for something that is not true, and you basically tricked a lot of people into believing. And Parts of the story are true, but the fact is she didn't tell the whole story. Next up, God of War Ragnarok. Early reviews have come out, and people are absolutely loving this game. I mean, nobody didn't see that coming. I mean, I think everybody thought this game was just going to be critically acclaimed and that people were just going to fall in love with it. And that's exactly what's going on. Now, these are early reviews. We'll get full reviews in about maybe even less than a week, I think. The game comes out on November 9th. That's when the game comes out. However, spoilers have emerged online. And the crazy thing is, some of these were by complete accident. So there were some reviewers that had it their PlayStation set up to where they will have a social media post every time they get a trophy. And they didn't even know they had this option on. Like they had no idea. And of course, some of the trophies include spoilers. And that's how some of them got out because people did see the trophy that they got and it kind of spoiled some plots of the game. And these posts were taken down rather quickly, but they were on there and people saw them. And of course, others are posting spoilers because they just want to do that. Some of them breaking a non-disclosure agreement, which I'm not going to get into that because I'd be here for about an hour talking about that. But some of these were genuinely by accident. They didn't even know they had this feature on. And that's just crazy how some of these spoilers got out just because of posts for trophies that these people didn't even know that they had on their PlayStation 5. And that's crazy and it's pretty sad. For those of you that are waiting for this game to come out and don't want to be spoiled, I would just avoid anything on social media that involves God of War Ragnarok. That's what I would do. Just avoid it altogether on social media. Maybe just avoid social media altogether if you don't want to be spoiled. That would be my suggestion. Next up, Laura Bailey, who voiced Abby on The Last of Us Part 2, has said that she would definitely go back to her character. She said in a statement, I know there was a lot of drama in response to her character, but it was one of the most influential roles I've had in my life. I would 100% go back to play more Abby if the opportunity came. And that is pretty interesting. And yes, there was a lot of controversy with Abby when The Last of Us Part 2 came out. Really, there was a lot of controversy with The Last of Us Part 2 in general, but the character of Abby really rubbed some people the wrong way with how she played out in the game. However, the fact that Laura Bailey would return as Abby, it would be interesting to see what they would do if they are making a Last of Us Part 3 that would involve Abby. That would be the interesting one right there. What they would do with Abby as a character if they do make The Last of Us Part 3, which we're all assuming they're going to make The Last of Us Part 3. And what would happen with Abby? That's the big question. And I'm glad to see that Laura is seeing some light with the character. And I'm glad she's able to say that it was a positive experience for her, even with all the controversy. That is very good to see. Next up, Hideo Kojima has talked about one of his games that he is working on. And he has said it's almost like a new medium. If this succeeds, it'll turn things around, not just in the game industry, but in the movie industry as well. That is a lot to take in, I think. Now, we know he's working on at least two projects. One is a cloud-based game for Microsoft. The other is a PlayStation title. And we can all pretty much confirm that it's Death Stranding 2 because that game's pretty much confirmed without it being revealed. I don't think it's Death Stranding 2. I think it's this cloud-based game that he is working on with Microsoft. And the fact that he wants it to be like a new medium and to change not only the game industry, but the movie industry as well, it really makes you think, what is he doing with this game? What's he doing with this project? That just leads to a lot of questions that we're not going to get answered until we finally see what exactly it's for. Again, I don't think it's for Death Stranding 2. I think it's for the cloud-based Microsoft game. I could be wrong, but that would be my guess to that. And again, Hideo Kojima has always tried to push what you can do with gaming from the very beginning. He always has, and he probably always will. And I want to see what he's talking about and whether it does create a new medium. If it does, and it does succeed, it could be a game changer. Next up, Fallout 4 is getting next gen update. Now, this is going to be a free update that releases in 2023. That's going to be on the Xbox Series XS, PC, and the PlayStation 5. It's going to include performance notes for high frame rates, quality mode. It's going to fix bugs, and there's also going to be a creation club content. When I first heard about this, I was shocked because I did not think that Fallout 4 was going to get a next gen update. This game has been out for a while, and while it was big, it's been hit or miss with what's been getting a next gen update and what has not. But this is very good to hear. And it's also very good to hear that it's not just going to be on Xbox and PC, that it's also going to be on PlayStation. Because remember, Bethesda, who made Fallout 4, is now owned by Microsoft. The fact that they are doing this might show that PlayStation is still going to get some Bethesda games with this update. Or it could be just that it's already on PlayStation, so it's easy to do. I don't know. Hopefully, this means Bethesda games will not be going away from PlayStation anytime soon. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is The Witcher 3 is being remade in the Unreal Engine 5. Wow, that is pretty big. Now, we all know how big The Witcher 3 was when it first came out, and really just how big the game is even today. But I feel like the first two games are kind of forgotten in the Witcher series, and this is a great idea to get people to go back to them or even go and play the original for the first time for those that have just played the third game. And if this works out, it's not only going to be good for them financially, it could be good for them in their public image because they need to get back on gamers' good side after what happened with Cyberpunk 2077. Now, they have been making strides with that, but they need something to get back on gamers' good sides and trust them again. This could be it. If it's done right, and people absolutely love it, they could get back on gamers' good side. So I like this idea. I think it could work out great for CT Project Red, and it could work out great for Witcher fans who did not get a chance to play the first game. All right, guys, that was the gaming news for today. And we are going to be going on hiatus for the rest of the year. We'll be back in January to talk about the year in review and to talk about the Game Awards. And we might be doing a preview for the Game Awards. But as far as gaming news, we're done for the year. We will see you guys next time.